Are you ready for some janky ass code? I hope you're ready for some janky ass code because I've got some janky ass code for you. So here we go. Here we go. This is video circa, I don't know, 1995 or something. So what I'm working on, right, is I'm working on this little open CV project. And basically, the idea is instead of processing video files, I'm going to process pictures. So basically, it's have individual pictures that are taken, and then OpenCV will process what's going on based off the cascade filters. And so one of the things I was thinking about is, again, when we think about like a display or a video or whatever, instead of actually having a video stream here, one of the things I kind of thought about is, well, what if the computer, right? What if the computer is constantly taking pictures? So right now, every half of a second, this computer is taking a picture. These are all the names, essentially, for the thing. Basically, that gets stored onto the server, and then you kind of have a web page that then updates, constantly updates, and you have kind of sort of, something that looks kind of sort of like a video file. Again, is it really a video file? No, but if we can get it processing fast enough, maybe, just maybe, it'll work better than a video file, actually. So what I have here right now is I have this little Python script. So we're importing CV2. So this is the open CV framework into Python. Basically, we're capturing an image from the CAM port. We're creating a timestamp so I can name the file. Since we're creating all these files, I need to give them a unique name. So I'm using a timestamp in order to do that. And then basically here, what I'm doing is I'm image writing to the pics folder, that timestamp name plus .png, and I'm doing the image. So the image then gets this name. I'm printing the timestamp out on the screen, just the console, so I can just see what's going on, make sure this is going through. And then we do use the file processing. So basically we're going to open the pictures.txt file for write. Basically this is going to overwrite. Then we're going to write the name, string timestamp plus .png, and then we're going to close, and then we're going to sleep. Well, there I have it for 0.1 seconds. Yeah, so I guess it's going quite a few times. Actually, yeah, look at that. So it's processing not quite 10 times. So it's able to take probably not quite 10 pictures per second. So you look at this, so 61, so this is a second, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I was able to process 7 pictures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so it seems to be hitting somewhere around the 7 mark. So I was able to take 7 pictures per second there, and then else, right, fails out. Then we come over to index.php, just a very, very, very simple script. So what I use is HTML. They have a tag essentially for auto refresh. So what we're going to do is auto refresh every 1 second. And then we're going to go to file get contents. And basically that line, that name that's in that file, we're going to call it a file. And then we're going to just echo out an image src. And so that's how we get this janky thing. Look at that pretty ass jank. Now what's kind of cool here, I don't know. Again, this is probably good for retro. It's not good for real UI UX design, but what's kind of cool here, right? So we get that 0.1. If we go down to like 0.75, and then we command S to save, what we can see is it starts to actually get a lot faster. Like, look at that. See, it's like, again, it's not quite it's not quite what you would call a real video file. Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the camera's over here. There we go. See, the camera's over here. So the camera's over here, the screen's over here, and I'm getting confused what's going on. But anyways, it's kind of like a janky video file. We can actually even increase this before it fails. We can actually go down to half a second. So we can force HTML to refresh itself every half a second. And then when we do that, we get this. See, look at that. It's like janky video. I don't know, this is kind of cool. Like from an artistic standpoint, I just kind of think this is kind of cool. Because again, it's just taking these pictures and then auto refreshing for whatever the latest picture is. So anyways, this is the kind of thing you have to think about, like when you're creating apps, when you're creating solutions, the whole idea of what is the thing. Again, we talk about the thing of the name. Like when we say video or we say something, does that actually mean video? Or does it mean something else? Can you accomplish it in a different way? And so what's kind of curious here is you can see that this is actually refreshing. God help us, is actually refreshing about every half a second. So this is creating about, what do we figure out? It's creating constantly about seven images per second. This is able to refresh twice a second, theoretically, kind of, sort of. So it's kind of interesting here, though. Again, like we have a vehicle. So if we have a vehicle and it's not actually outputting to HTML, so it can just simply take what's coming in from the OpenCV. It can process and move the vehicle. We might maybe get some decent performance. maybe we'll get some decent performance, or not, or possibly not. So anyways, there's some more janky ass code. I just kind of think this is cool. This is the kind of thing like you look at, and realistically, I'm not sure I'd ever let a customer see this. If you let a customer see this, they might fire you. But it's kind of cool at the same time. It's like, what do you do with this? I don't really know what you do with this, but I think it's kind of cool. So, there we go. Saving OpenCV, capturing images, saving the image name to a file, having HTML5 auto refresh. But again, like the cool thing you could do here, let's say, is you take this out to every like 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, probably a little bit more normal, right? And see now, if it auto refreshes every 5 seconds, again, this is something to think about, like with a surveillance system. So this is something I would probably show a customer. So what if you just needed a very low cost surveillance system, essentially just to see what's going on inside a property, right? I need to see how many trucks are in the loading bay. I need to see how many customers are in the store. Again, instead of thinking about 15 frames per second, what about thinking about 15 frames per minute? Because again, especially if you're doing something that goes up to the cloud, right? So if you're doing a cloud solution, imagine you have your device, right? You have your widget, and that widget has to upload to some kind of cloud service, whether it's Oceanfront or AWS or whatever else, right? If you have a 1080p video file, that could be taking at least a megabit per second, maybe up to 3, depending on the quality. So that requires a significant amount of bandwidth, especially if you have a lot of those devices in your environment. So let's say you had 100 cameras. Imagine you had 100 cameras because you want to get a surveillance, you want to get an overview of the environment. Do you need 100 1080p 30 frame per second cameras? Or would it be better to have 100, let's say 4K cameras that only upload, once every 5 seconds? Again, what gives you a better overall solution is the question. So anyways, there you go. There's my janky ass code. See y'all next week.